What's up, MetaNerdz? This video is all about the BTL-A4 LP, also known as the Y-Wing Longprobe. Like the regular Y-Wing, it was produced by Corsair Manufacturing, the same people who gave us a ton of other vehicles, but who also provided so many parts for other starfighters that the majority of their revenue came just from the sales of starfighter parts. The Longprobe cost 185,000 credits, about 50,000 more than a Y-Wing, and more than 3 times the cost of the TIE Fighter. With its Class 1 hyperdrive, it was faster than the Imperial-class Star Destroyer, but tied with the Venator and the X-Wing. Its armament is the same as the Y-Wing, with 2 forward-mounted laser cannons, a dual ion cannon turret, though it was locked in the forward position, and there was also a difference in the payload, having the 2 proton torpedo launchers, but doubling from 8 to 16 torpedoes on board. And fittingly, it had twice the cargo capacity, up from 110 kilograms to 220 kilograms, enough to carry a quarter dewback. The Longprobe was designed to use this payload in its Class 1 hyperdrive to carry out hit-and-run missions across vast distances of space, and make it safely back to a rebel base, making multiple jumps if possible, meaning it needed to carry a ton of fuel as well. To make room for all this extra fuel, they stripped out the second co-pilot seat that had been introduced in the S3 variant, along with the backup life support systems and additional mission support equipment. This meant that only elite Y-Wing pilots would be trusted with the Longprobe, as it was much more dangerous than other models. Not just because he was sitting on a tube filled to the brim with fuel and proton torpedoes, attached to a giant pair of engines, but because these life and mission support systems had been greatly reduced, a pilot would often be flying without any connection to Rebel support, knowing that any mistake could kill him. And remember, this was used exclusively to scout crucial Imperial assets, or drop its payload on them, meaning that it would poke the Hornet's nest deep behind enemy lines and without any safety net, while hopefully being quick enough to escape. This is where these upgraded closed-cylinder ion turbines come in handy, being not just quicker than the standard Y-Wing, but also containing these fins on each turbine, that when combined with the ability to raise and lower independently on these hinges, the Longprobe would be much more agile than any other Y-series bomber. Throughout the Galactic Civil War, the A4 LP would carry out important scouting missions, returning with data that could help prevent the discovery of rebel bases, as well as to find areas that were not so heavily patrolled, so that they could establish new bases, while also carrying out targeted strikes that helped to cripple the Imperial war machine in key areas. As for its history after the Battle of Endor and into the New Republic era, it is unclear what happened to this ship, or how long before it was replaced by starfighter bombers like the K-Wing. So that's it for its history, and the only cool behind the scenes facts is that it was introduced in the comic Star Wars 2, World on Fire, but was also in the video games Star Wars Rebellion and Star Wars Galaxies. It was also expanded upon further in source books like the Rebel Alliance and the Rules Companion. So that's it for the BTL-A4 LP Longprobe, but most important of all, remember, never govern your empire so loosely that you can't even tell when you're being probed, and the Force will be with you always.